a look back. So let's roll to a look back and a look ahead. So I want to start with you just sitting back and thinking about 2016, 2017, right? What a phenomenal year. It's been a good year, a crazy year. We passed Measure J. And I want to take a moment to remind us about our core values, because the core values really anchor us in our work. And I loved your remarks, Desi. It reminded me when you were speaking a lot about our core value of diversity, so thank you. I'll run here and get started. Do we have the first core value, Aricia? Diversity. Do we have a volunteer reader for diversity? Ushers, where are you? Okay, we've got 2 ushers there. Any volunteers to read diversity? Over here. Thank you so much.
Diversity.
Neely Hattridge, let's stand up and...
Diversity. We insist that diversity be valued and promoted, recognizing that multiple perspectives lead to a better education and knowledge of the world. Listening and witnessing different experiences helps us to understand and contextualize power and privilege related to gender, race, class, religion, disability, and sexuality in terms of access and barriers to resources and opportunities.
Neely Hattridge, communication. So here is your bribe for volunteering. It's a We Are BC t-shirt. I think the communication department, like ACTO, has taken over. And what I heard recently is Helen Acosta was planning this entire program in Arvin. Is that correct? All right, go communication. Do we have another voice? And please introduce yourself, okay?
My name is Ronnie Racinos. I'm in IT 4. I'm teaching the powertrain division of the automotive faculty. So, you would like me to read diversity again?
Please.
We insist that diversity be valued and promoted, recognizing that multiple perspectives lead to a better education and knowledge of the world. Listening and witnessing different experiences help us all to understand and contextualize power and privilege related to gender, race, class, religion, disability, and sexuality in terms of access and barriers to resources and opportunities.
Thank you. I couldn't throw that far. I need to practice with Coach Carl Dean. My dear newcomers to Bakersfield College, BC insists that we value diversity. Can we have the slide again? We insist that diversity be valued and promoted. And we can't take those words and for granted. Recently, we've been seeing incidents in Charlottesville, and you turn on the news, and it's a reminder, at least for me, to come back to what we do at the college and to recognize that this core value really embodies itself in what we do, but also in our curriculum. It's about our students getting the word out. And so that insistence gives a sense of movement and a restlessness on our parts to make sure that this core value is present in everything that we do. In fact, our college's focus on rural Kern is a great example of our insistence on diversity. Those migrant farm worker community needs not just the entry-level job skills. They do need that, but they also need that philosophy class, don't they? Yes, ma'am. They do. Our inmate education program that we have expanded is another representation of our diversity core value. And when Jerry Brown, in the work that has happened with legislation, in trying to look at parole dates for inmates to come back and reintegrate with the community, and also looking at changing the threshold of misdemeanors when individuals get incarcerated, the single answer to this is education. You know, when we were talking about inmate education, you know, Monica was telling me it's all about jobs, not jails. So the work that we're doing in our inmate education program has been extremely critical. 2 days ago, Tom Burke and myself and a group of individuals, Professor Yuki from our Japanese program who teaches a class, we were out at the Kern Valley Prison and we heard a presentation from the students who had completed the class. Many of them are graduating. Some of them are going to be reintegrating with the community in 2 years. So they're starting their preparation to have the skills that are needed for reintegration. And the stories that these individuals shared are really incredible, how their mindset has been changed by the difficult, rigorous college classes. And each and every one of them focused completely on the courses that they took as changing their behavior and their person. And they called out with tears in their eyes professors by name who had impacted their lives. So let's have the slide for inmate education. And we were like, what do we do, right? What do we do? And they wanted something right off. Just we need to launch something in spring, in 3 months. And in 3 months, Brian Hiroyama, a superhero. Is Brian here today? Okay. So Brian Hiroyama stepped forward, absolutely not knowing what to expect, and did that first communication class. You should have seen, and Chelsea has promised me that she's going to have more opportunities for all of you to be able to engage and meet these students. So sign up with Chelsea in the fall semester and you know, caravan out there, a group of you, and you can actually meet them. But they single-handedly said that Brian Hiroyama is the reason for how they behaved in a different manner, is the reason for them communicating with their families outside and encouraging them to go to college. And they said he's the reason why now many of the young men, their sons and their nephews, are thinking of college in their future. So the impact goes beyond the walls of the prison. We are now, last semester, we moved from 1 class to 5 transfer courses, CTE courses, with an enrollment of 777 students. You should see Yuki, if you haven't seen our Japanese instructor. You think I'm little? Yuki's little, she's really tiny. And Marquise, who is a student that I met in our classroom at the Kern Valley Prison, he described Yuki as being kind, yet a very tough instructor. When he was not able to handle his 3-course load, and he also had a new job in the prison, and he wanted to drop Japanese, and he came and he was trying to get some sympathy, Yuki looked at him and said, knock it off. Okay? And yeah, give it up. Give it up for Yuki. So anyway, the stories that we have, I was telling the rural group that met in retreat a week or so ago, Abel, and I was telling them that one of the things, faculty, that we need to do this fall semester and the spring is to keep writing and telling our story. Because we're so busy doing so many things, we're not getting a chance to be the voice of Bakersfield College and the scribe of Bakersfield College. Many of you are carving out time to write and tell the story, and I know when we had Measure J, where's Andrea Thorson? When we had Measure J, We were out there with the Writers Bureau and the Speakers Bureau telling the story. Talita, thank you. So we've done a lot of that work, but we need to really amplify it. So it is part of what you're going to hear from your deans and your directors to see if we can provide you any kind of relief. If there is something that we want to write about and showcase nationally, let's use 2017-18 as the year to tell BC's story. And as I'm talking about the storytellers, the scribes, the voices of Bakersfield College, I want to recognize those of you who've either written a paper or write for the Californian, where's Nick Strobel, or you've done an artistic creation, or you've been a scholar doing some work. All of you, please stand up and be recognized. I know there's a lot of you. Come on, stand up, come on. Okay. And there's more of you. Okay, thank you. And the reason I asked you to stand up and please work with me is because I want our new faculty and staff to know that we value the research, scholarship, the artistic creation, because in many ways we're more of a liberal arts college than a community college in what we do with the Levin Center and so on. So I want to, in this context, recognize a small department that has gone through a lot of changes, but they've really hung together this last year. It's been a difficult year. I want to give a shout out to our Marketing and Public Relations Department. So with that, in terms of looking back at 2016-17, Aricia, let's go through the slides. This is just a sampling. It's just the tip of the iceberg of what you did in 2016. Okay. Our math completion, transfer math, transfer English. Look at the line graphs. They're going up. Next slide. Matriculation from 31% to 75%. Next slide. Keep moving, Aricia. 55 new faculty and 10 earning tenure. Tenured faculty, stand up. We have redesigned the college catalog and we did our educational master plan. Janet Folks, where are you? Jennifer Johnson, where are you? Curriculum committee. Mwah! Amazing work. All right, we have 6 new degrees for transfer, 17 new programs, 11 new certificates, and 278 new courses. We spent $1.5 million in instructional equipment. Our dual enrollment, we went from 94 students to 2,797. Is it students or sections? I think it's students. 69% were offered in rural Kern, our diversity focus, and 85% of our students were students of color. And when you're thinking about all of the work that we've done related to student success, whether with our outreach program, the outreach gang, where are you guys? Okay, Steve Watkin and team. And when you look at the work that we've done in admissions and records, financial aid, our summer bridge, all of that came from our categorical and grant funding. So let me wait there for a moment and ask you, do you know what our big categorical and grant funds are? Can anyone call it out, or groups of you? SSSB, equity, strong workforce, okay. BSI, Title V. So we've got a lot of money that has come in through grants and categoricals that has given us some amount of resources to do our innovation. Let's keep moving. Okay, financial aid. Give it up for our financial aid. 5 minutes of wait time. This is incredible. Next slide. A&R automated student transcripts. Thank you, A&R. It's 2017, you guys. Public safety, oh, the RAD training. Thank you, Chief. You're the best. The Public Safety Department, you're the best. Thank you. And events again, Mary Jo, we've been bringing the community back, and although it is aggravating for some of you when you're not able to find parking, but that's what brought us the $500 million in terms of Measure J funding. So we've got to keep our doors open to the community. And food trucks, let's give it up for, all right. So we introduced, and this is something that Janet always reminds me, skill builders, automotive. So besides our transfer degrees and our certificates, we have, come to BC, take 2 classes, and boom, you can get a job. And those are called skill builders. And we've been doing a great job. So thank you all of our CTE faculty for doing this. And I do need to give a shout out before, the Kern Promise. Let me do the Kern Promise. Tom Gelder and the foundation, please stand up. Where are you guys? Okay. So the Kern Promise is a huge community commitment to students to get them through in 2 years. So we are rolling it out in phases, and right now we have 160 students who are English prepared, that's English 1A, and college level math, and we're going to try to get them through in 60 credits, 2 years, into CSUB or to a UC. And it's like an entire community coming together, and I love this picture. You see our chancellor? He looks great with his beard. I keep telling him, we need that beard going, And look at the entire team there. You've got Congressman Bill Thomas, who can be here with us, and Mayor and Supervisor Perret. Look at this group, okay? These are all friends of BC. We've got this incredible safety net for our students, so let's tap into that. And before I go into the Summer Bridge, which is my concluding slide for a look back, I do want to recognize the executive office that I work with. So this is a personal thank you to the 3 vice presidents and to the entire executive office. Jennifer, Tracy, June, Somali, Tarina, and Chris. Please stand up. Thank you, guys. I do want to end a look back with Summer Bridge. This is just phenomenal, and everyone I've talked to, what they've shared with me is more than the students, maybe not more, or maybe as equal to, the students benefiting in the orientation as they come in. It's a phenomenal professional development for faculty and staff. We get to know our own home. Teresa McAllister was telling me that FCDC was having their retreat, or the institute, in the Renegade Room, and you had a faculty member running over and asked Teresa, where is the Renegade Room? And Teresa says, well, you got to be part of Summer Bridge. So Summer Bridge is just an incredible program, and it's going to expand even next year and become our default way of welcoming our students. I know when my daughter went to UC San Diego, not only did she have an orientation, I did as well as a parent, and we don't do that at Bakersfield College, and our students are so much more fragile coming in and not understanding all of what college requires, so we must make it our default option. And I was talking to my daughter the other day and telling her about Summer Bridge, and she just loves the Summer Bridge program, and she said, you know what? I just got an apartment in LA, and I had to go through an orientation before I get the keys to the apartment. So it's like, come on already. So new faculty, new staff, new managers, please find Kimberly Bly and sign up for Summer Bridge next year. And I'm making a commitment to you. I'm going to sign up for one of them next year as well, okay? All right. Oh, and I'm not going to end with Summer Bridge. I am going to end with Measure J. So if during opening day in the spring, we did a lot with Measure J. We had a video, and Manny, thank you for the video you put together, Manny De Los Santos. Incredibly funny guy, incredibly talented. We love you, Manny De Los But Measure J, it took all of us coming together. So this is an opportunity for you to stretch because I'm going to get everyone to stand up. So get prepared and be safe because this theater is a great theater, but it also can be a tripping hazard. So be safe, okay? Get ready to get up and stretch. Okay, so here we go. If you're part of the Writers Bureau, stand up. If you're part of the Speakers Bureau, stand up. If you help the Writers Bureau and help the Speakers Bureau, stand up. If you made phone calls, stand up. If you did precinct walking, stand up. If you talked to someone who did precinct walking, stand up. If you voted, stand up. If you voted yes on J, stand up. If you contributed to planning of the facility, stand up. Let's give it up for Measure J. Thank you. $500 million. The impact is going to be felt way after our time. So now it's time for us to remind ourselves the core value of sustainability. I'm hoping 2 of our newcomers have microphones already. So can we have the first voice introduce yourself and read our core value of sustainability?
Good morning, BC. Up here. Good morning, faculty, staff, administrators. It's good to be here this morning. My name is Valerie Robinson. I'm a business professor here at the college. The best department ever, business. I teach business, HR management, human relations, people skills. Very well needed. Sustainability. We recognize our responsibility for continuing and maintaining this institution, which has been shaped by over 100 years of resolute, am I saying it correct? Resolute and tenacious labor and judicious foresight. So we unceasingly place our energies into imagining how we might sustain and renew our physical, human, and environmental resources into the future.
Thank you, Valerie. And Valerie is a mentor in our A-STEP program. We're going to be talking about coaching community, so I just wanted to call out the A-STEP program. Who's the second voice? Over here.
Good morning, everybody. Heather Pinella from the Foundation Office. We recognize our responsibility for continuing and maintaining this institution, which has been shaped by over 100 years of resolute and tenacious labor and judicious foresight. So we unceasingly place our energies in imagining how we might sustain and renew our fiscal, human, and environmental resources into the future.